Hi, I'm Michael O'Donovan and... Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Michael O'Donovan and this is The Wedding Show. On tonight's episode, we talk about hairstyles. Not that I know anything about it, but still, we talk about hairstyles. Hi and welcome to The Wedding Show, where you get tips and advice on planning your wedding day. We hear from the experts in the wedding industry and get their opinion and listen to their experiences. To get involved in the conversation, simply leave comments or questions in the comment section below, or you can private message us, email us, or visit My Wedding Store here in Clooney in County Sligo. The show is brought to you in association with My Wedding Store. My Wedding Store, in case you didn't know, is a one-stop shop for all your wedding needs. For more information, check out MyWeddingStore.ie, incorporating hire, retail and other wedding services. If you'd like to sponsor an episode, a prize or giveaway, or if you have news, then of course let us know privately and we'll take care of it. Now that's enough plugs for the moment. Let's get into this week's episode, because this week we're talking hair and hairstyles, something I know absolutely nothing about. But joining me tonight I have Gemma Crossan from Hothead Hair in Riverstown, County Sligo. Hi Gemma.
Hi, how are you?
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And we also have Melissa Moran from Melissa Moran Hair Designs in Claremorris, County Mayo.
Hello, how are you?
Hi Melissa, how are you?
Good.
Everything good?
Very good.
Are you enjoying the weather at the moment?
It's brilliant.
Excellent, excellent. All right guys, we're going to jump straight into it, okay? And I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball into you. And it was the question I didn't tell you about. So I'm going to start with that, right? What's the one thing in your kit bag you couldn't live without if you were going to do a wedding?
If it was me, my favourite item at the moment for weddings is the GHD waving wand, because all the brides are big into waves at the moment. I just love it. It's my favourite electrical item. Couldn't leave it.
Does that give you waves, or does
Yeah.
it take out the waves?
My luscious hair now is
Yes,
done.
yes.
Is done with it tonight. But it's a type of a wand, but it has more of a flat end on it, so it gives more of that wave that the bride is looking for instead of that tight curl.
Does those type of things not damage your hair?
If they're overused, absolutely, they will damage your hair. But like anything, if it's moderation, and if you look after your hair, it's fine. But yes, if you use any electrical item that has heat too much, it will damage your hair.
That goes in your kit bag first.
Yeah, always.
live without.
Can't live without.
What about you, Melissa? What's the one thing you can't live without in your kit bag?
Mine would have to be a product, shine spray.
Shine spray. What does that do?
It gives a lovely shimmer to the hair, so when it's photographed it looks really well, and it picks it up well with the lens.
Oh, cool.
We all like shiny hair.
You all like shiny hair.
Shiny, shiny.
Yeah, I just ended up with a shiny head. That's 2. See if we can count how many references to mixed no hair tonight, all right? That's 2. Now, before we go any further as well, Gemma,
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You're going to give away a prize tonight, aren't
Yes,
you? What
absolutely.
are you going to give away?
So I'm going to give an Upstyle.
An Upstyle?
Yes,
Okay.
with myself.
With yourself?
Yeah.
Not for a wedding or anything like that?
Not for like bridal hair, but for a regular Upstyle.
A regular
yes.
Upstyle. So
Yeah.
if there's a lady out there or a fella and you've long hair and you want an Upstyle and you're going out for some night, we'll run a competition very shortly, and Gemma's going to give away something, or she's going to give away that. Melissa, you're going to give away something tonight? I'm going to put you on the spot now. I should have told you earlier on, but I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to give away an Upstyle as well.
An Upstyle of that. So we got 2 Upstyles.
A bride to be.
A bride to be. Okay. All
Mini
right.
trial.
A mini trial. Okay. Now that you brought up mini trials, I could try. One of the questions that came in during the week was trials for your hair. Now, we had a couple of brides on a couple of weeks back. One of them reckoned you had to have a hair trial. One of them reckoned she didn't have to have a hair trial, because I think she was getting her hair done by her regular hairdresser. Now, that leads me on to another question as well, but I'll come to that in a few minutes. The hair trial, are they important? What is their purpose? How long in advance do you need to get it done? And does it cost?
So I personally feel, no, you don't have to get a hair trial.
Right.
But I do think it's important, because if they don't have a hair trial, what they have in their head for what they may want, and you do it on the morning, and then they end up not liking it. For instance, if you go out and you think, I want a strapless dress, and you try on the strapless dress and you end up finding that that's not actually what you want.
What happens if a bride hasn't picked her dress yet? Would you guys always recommend that they pick, Melissa, would you recommend that they pick the dress before?
I would recommend picking your dress first, because there's certain styles that will not go with certain dresses. We'll say for a dress that is a high neck, an Upstyle is quite nice, and if there's detailed at the back, you don't want to leave your hair down, it's going to cover all the detail. So I think if you pick your dress first, you get a better idea then what hairstyle would suit best.
Right.
And regarding like when they get their trial done, I always usually recommend them not coming to me until they have a dress fitting. Right. Simply, I think it's important for them to see, even if they get their makeup done the same day, to see their total finished look together. Yeah. Because otherwise, if they get their makeup trial another day and their hair trial another day, they don't know, does it all go together? Everything should flow. The hair should complement the makeup should complement the hair. It should all flow. So as well as that, if they don't do it with a dress fitting, they don't know, does it really suit the dress? Right. So I think it's important that if they can, some brides can't, their dresses might be in Dublin, but we will start at 7:30 in the morning if we need to get them in early and get them out for their dress fitting.
Most girls, would you agree, would have their dress sorted 3 months out? Richard, I
oh
can
God,
hear
yes.
coming back on. Yeah. I can hear the sound coming back on that. Can you mute that or turn it down? Yeah. By the way, I meant to say Richard is on production tonight, so fair play to him. Brian McDermott is about to land any minute now, so Brian will be taking care of social media and all that goes on. So make sure you get your questions and comments, keep them coming in, and we'll get to those in a couple of minutes. Sorry, guys, you were saying?
What you did they have their dress 3 months in advance? Yeah, it would be very unusual if they don't. No, like usually 3 months in advance. They're starting to think even about their dress fitting. There is girls that say to me, "Can I come 9 or 12 months out?" Absolutely, they can. But what's going to happen is if they come for a hair trial that soon in advance, they haven't tried it maybe on with their dress. Even if they like it, then they'll start thinking, oh God, but I haven't seen it with their dress. So they end up paying for a second trial.
Yeah, because and girls change their mind on the dresses as well. I mean, they do change their minds on dresses.
And their hairstyle can change, the length as well. So what you might decide on 9 months ago, you can change the style a lot more.
Now, does it cost?
Yes. So there is a charge for a hair trial. They last from about an hour to an hour and a half. One thing I always find the brides ask me is, I'm going to a wedding, can you take me this day for a hair trial? No. And the reason why I say no to doing their hair on the day they're going to a wedding is they're in a rush. They have to be at the church themselves at 1 o'clock. Yeah. I like them to come in to me where they're not in a rush. Yeah. I like an hour and a half to do 2 or 3 choices. They might know what they want at the back, but they might not know what they want at the front. So it's to give them a choice. Whereas if they're going to a wedding, I just feel they're rushing, they're watching the clock. They don't have the time.
So bride to be and you're going to a wedding, come in and get your wash, cut and blow dry, whatever you call it.
Or a regular Upstyle.
And regular Upstyle, and go and enjoy the wedding and bring your notebook and take notes.
Absolutely, but don't come looking for a trial.
Right. Okay. I came across another question online as well, and I wanted to put it to you. Hair salon versus professional stylist.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? I somehow think there is.
Yeah.
But I'd like you to explain it to me. Listen, let you take that one first.
Well, me and Gemma might disagree on this, seeing as
God, I hope so.
Based in a salon and I work freelance.
I hope so.
But I suppose with me, freelance, I specialise solely in brides. So I would have my own studio for the trials where the bride comes to me, and then for the morning of the wedding, I call to their venue, their hotel or their house. And the difference would be that you get undivided attention for your wedding day, so there's no rushing back to a salon or other appointments. Basically.
So would you be classed then as sort of a bit of both? You'd be a professional hairstylist who also has would be sort of professional hair salon stroke hairdresser.
As in, do I work from a salon as well?
Yeah.
I would do during the week, but weekends are solely brides.
Right.
And bridal.
But the thing I came across was that there is controversy over, or not controversy, but there is a difference between someone who does hair salon, but you do brides as well, so it doesn't apply to you. So you're a bit of both.
Yeah.
So I just pass it on to Gemma.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think there's also what's known as a session stylist. So a session stylist is somebody that does an awful lot of kind of runway work and them kind of editorial
Like a
looks.
session musician, where they just roll in and they can play for anybody.
So I do think, yes, there's a stylist. There's an awful lot of hairdressers that don't do upstyling, which is totally fine. They could be into colouring and cutting or anything like that.
Okay.
But myself and Melissa, we're all rounders. We do everything.
You also men's hairstylists or hairdressers as well.
Yeah,
so
that's
they'd be classed in that as well. But they wouldn't be as au fait with Upstyles as such.
That's
I don't
it.
think you get too many men for Upstyles.
Yeah. I mean, some hairdressers have their own niche where they're colourists.
Yeah.
They're known as colourists, and that's their thing is colourists. But stylists, we're into actually styling.
Colouring hair is a minefield, I'd say, is it?
Yeah.
An absolute minefield.
Very technical.
I had an older man in the salon, as he said to me, and I thought it was a very good explanation. He says, I suppose hairdressers really are like panel beaters. And I kind of looked at him and he says, well, you have to match in what the car has faded to. You have to know what that car was before it faded. And I thought, very, very good.
Yeah.
Because if it's a new customer and you haven't met them before, their colour could have been much darker before you meet them. And if it's faded, but you have to figure out, has it faded or has it not? So I thought a hairdresser being referred to a panel beater, thought it was a good one.
I find as well with salons, salons will do upstyles, but they don't specialise solely in bridal work. I find bridal upstyles need to photograph well from all angles. There's a lot more to take in than just doing an upstyle that would be okay for a night out.
Okay,
I totally agree.
That leads me on to another question then. Where is it here? Let's see if I can word it properly. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Will my hair last the whole day of their wedding? I presume there's different techniques and pins and,
And
hot glue and stuff that you use.
I'd like to think that their hair would last all day, but if somebody asked me that question, I would not lay my life on it. I'd be honest with them, because if somebody is wearing a down style and it's a very wet day and they have had curls, no way.
Gone.
It's gone. The wind, the rain, they're going to be like they dragged through a bush.
If they're driving even in an open top car from from the church to the hotel and it's close,
so
it can still have an effect.
I would say,
or if they go getting their photographs taken on the beach, or
But there is products that will help, and people with experience in bridal hair will use the correct products to help with humidity and all that goes with it.
What time of the morning do you girls start at the bride's house?
So anywhere from 7 o'clock onwards, but how I usually work it is, first of all, it depends on how long the bride is taking. I always like to allow a minimum of an hour for the bride. But I'm not rushing. If I stay calm, she stays calm.
Of course,
Calm environment.
Yeah.
When I go out, I'm with them until they go to the church. So even though I have a salon, I stay with them until they're leaving for the church. Simply, an awful lot of bridal stylists don't do it. They can't get their veil in.
Yeah.
So if you're gone at 11 o'clock, you've seen it.
I've seen
it, and they're
bridesmaids trying
can't
to fit
do it.
the veil in this way, and I said, no, you turn it this way, and you push it forward, and then push it down.
Yeah. And
if you draw blood, you've done it right.
You even know, because you've seen it. But you can't put it in at 11 o'clock and then they're trailing around with it all morning.
Yeah.
So I like to stay with them until they're ready to go out to the church. So it's usually around 12:30 I stay with them, final touch-ups. So I say anywhere from 7 until 12:30 I'm with them. Now, if they have a smaller party, obviously you're not out that early.
Yeah.
But if you usually...
It's usually 7 at 7 o'clock. Would you start
7:30.
as well at 7?
I start the same.
So let's say the church is at 1, you're starting at 7. How many well, you've one bride, but how many bridesmaids, and I suppose a mum thrown in, we said the mum and the bridesmaid, how many bridesmaids can you get in that time?
Oh, you can get in as many as you want. With 3 bridesmaids, mother of the bride, flower girl, and the bride herself, if you wanted, you could start at 7. You could be done at 10 or 10:30 if you wanted to, and that's without killing yourself. So, I mean, I've often done 8 on my own, no problem, before 1 o'clock. Yeah, and you will get them done.
Do you ever get dad coming to you saying, any chance of that?
I've got a dad for a blow dry. Yeah, I have. Yeah, for a blow dry.
Jesus, the last time I went to a hairdresser was 1996. I was in 95, one of the two. Anywho.
But it's always nice to leave an hour at the end that you're not rushing, so they have time to get photographs and relax. So I always start the bride prepping her hair, leaving her rollers in so she can potter about then and get her makeup done, and then it's back to her then again second last.
I always find from a video point of view, if I land and let's say I normally get to the house at a 1 o'clock wedding, I would normally get to the house between 10:30 and 11. I might flute around outside, getting establishing shots or getting cameras set and all the rest of it, or wander in and say hello to everybody and don't take out the camera. But 11 o'clock then, 2 hours out, the camera comes out. But I always love it when the bride is still in her rollers, or there's still another 20 minutes left to do with her hair or whatever when I land in at 11 o'clock. I really, because
that's another point that is important, and they forget. You know, when you say to them, we'll start at 7, 7:30 in around, and as I says, that's for a bigger party. If it's a smaller party, you can start later. But I always say, we'll aim to be finished at 11 or 11:30, and they're kind of looking at you saying, can you come later? But as I say, if you come later, you're obstructing then the photographer and the video from getting them shots out in the garden in your jammies, because you're still in getting your hair done. So it's very important to be finishing up in around that time. We still stay on to do our final touch-ups.
Yeah, from a timeline point of view, if you guys start at 7, you would aim to be 20 minutes out at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then us guys, you know, Richard or whoever the photographer is or the video guy lands in at 11, and they get sort of 20 minutes before the hair is done, so you get a couple of shots in the chair. And the same with the makeup then. And then they have still an hour of photographs, and then like...
Everything runs way smoother.
It runs way smoother, doesn't it? Yeah. How far out should girls book their hairstyle? How far out are you booked out? Like, I mean,
so we do have appointments up to 2019. It's like yourself. Like primary dates are always going to go first. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day even is a big day. Easter, all your primary dates, bank holidays, they're going to go quick. So I say it's nearly like your videographer, like yourself. If you really want a wedding supplier, book them the minute you have your date. Okay. Or you may be disappointed. Yeah.
What about you, Melissa? Would you?
I would say I'm up to 2 years, because you do get the odd person that's last minute booking things that wouldn't kind of see hair and makeup as a big priority when they're booking, but I think it's just
because
as
it's
important.
so far away.
Yeah.
I think it's so far away.
And but books book up so quickly, and it's definitely just as important as your video and camera and stuff.
We'd like to welcome Brian McDermott to the fold. Hello, Brian. Nice of you to join us. Got his hair done.
I'm not doing audio ever again.
Why is it? Is everything okay?
All right, yeah.
What are you doing to the camera, Brian? See, he does this every week. He moves the camera every week on me, every single week. Now, our competition, we have 2 Upstyles to give away, so we're going to run a competition, and I think what we'll do for the competition is, what will we do for the competition, Richard? Give me a suggestion. Put you on the spot.
Yeah, thanks.
Talk into the mic there, Richard.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, well, you can hear me.
Yeah.
Don't worry, anybody else can hear me.
I don't
I don't know. Let me think.
We have 2 Upstyles to give away.
Okay, 2 Upstyles. I think the best.
What if we just got
Best question sent in to
Yeah,
us.
best questions.
Yeah. I
the
think-
2 best
I think
questions.
2 best questions
Make them work
would be
for
good.
us. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, if you have a question and you want the 2 girls to answer, then get messaging us. Let us know in the comment section below, and we'll pick 2 winners after the show. And you got 2 Upstyles to give away. All right, we'll go back. Any social media people? Anybody watching, Richard?
Yeah, loads of people watching. We've loads of regulars. Martina from K Creations. We have Giovanna Moran.
Hi. Thanks for me.
We have Proncius watching. Jacinta. Giovanna again. Danielle.
Any questions or
Another one of
comments?
mine.
Or?
No, well, Tricia Byrne is looking for tips.
Okay, we'll come to that very shortly. We'll come to that, Tricia. We'll come to that. So if you want to win, if you want to be in with a chance of winning the Upstyles, leave a message or a comment or a question in the comment section below. Now, just go, we were talking about bridesmaids there a few minutes ago. Should the bridesmaids wear their hair a certain way, or should the brides just let them do their own thing?
I find personally it's better for bridesmaids to have like an upstyle, so that they're not messing with their own hair then during the day. It's out of their way, and they can focus on
It's
helping
not
the bride.
distracting them.
Yeah. So they've more time for the bride than to be helping her than fixing their own
look,
hair.
we won't get started. Don't get me started on bridesmaids helping the bride. I'm keeping that for the video episode, which is coming shortly. What do you think, Gemma?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I am disagreeing.
Disagree.
Because you're going to be up against bridesmaids. I have my own sister herself that got married, and she would never wear her hair up. She did for my wedding, but of course I'm a hairdresser, so she was wearing her hair up. But she's so uncomfortable with her hair up. It's just not her thing. She's lovely blonde hair. She likes to wear it down. So I think you're up against bridesmaids. If you force them into putting their hair up, they're uncomfortable for the day. It's going to show on the pictures. They're going to be miserable. Yes, at the end of the day, it is the bride's choice of what she wants. Yes. But if she's willing to let them have their choice, I think let them be comfortable. It's like putting them in a dress that they don't like. They're going to look uncomfortable.
But surely the hairstyle has to suit the
Yeah,
dress
it
and the shape of the girl as well.
It does,
surely.
absolutely.
You know, and
it
if
does.
the girl, you know, I don't know. There's all.
Sometimes you're up against limitations. You might have 3 bridesmaids, 2 with very long hair, 1 with short hair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not going up.
Yeah, you can't put a short hair
No,
hairstyle.
you can. Well, you can. We can.
There is
We can do it
That gives me another question.
Yeah, we can clip in extensions. Now, there's a limit. Obviously, if it's very, very, very short, the extensions aren't going to blend.
Do
You're not gonna get them
you agree or disagree with extensions?
I agree. If the hair is long enough to get them in, absolutely, I do agree. They're only clipped in for the day, so they can take them back out. So it's not costing them a fortune.
Why do brides wear extensions?
If they need longer, thicker hair.
It's instant glamour.
It's all about the luscious, thick locks.
Jesus.
He doesn't understand.
I don't understand. No, I don't understand. Okay. What about so the bridesmaids? They depending on the style of dress, depending on the bridesmaid, depending on their own hair,
Yeah.
and whether or not their
And what
hair
they
can
feel
take
comfortable
extensions,
with.
then an upstyle or not is warranted.
Yeah.
And like you said, you think it should be left to the
I
bridesmaids?
think between the bride and the bridesmaids, it should be a decision between themselves. Do you know,
Right.
sometimes the bride will direct me and tell me what she wants for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes the bride will say whatever they want themselves.
Right.
I would say, though, one thing I do say is a good tip is, usually I say if they have 3 the same dresses, it should be 3 matching hairstyles. Because this is one question I get asked all the time. Find minor little differences, as in some bits left down, other bridesmaid doesn't want bits down, or somebody wants more height or less height. But if they have 3 different dresses, fine, 3 different hairstyles. But if they're 3 the same, I think it should be 3 uniformed looks.
Right.
If you can at all.
Right.
It looks better in photos.
What about mum's hair then?
Mum's
hair.
hair, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you?
I find a lot of older mothers have shorter hair, so it's
yes,
a lot of blow
I would
dries on the
agree with
morning,
that. My mum has shorter
which
hair.
is great for timing on the morning. But there
Yeah.
is some ladies would have longer.
And you know how older ladies sometimes get, you know, a rinse in their hair? Is that something that you would recommend they get done a couple of days before, a week
God, yeah.
before the wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Just
just
in case?
stains. Stains, number one, that if there was any stains left around their hairline or anything,
Right.
yeah, that's all
And
done.
when
so,
we'd
yeah.
arrive, their hair would be wet, so they'd be better getting the rinse done before
A couple of
washing
days
it on the
beforehand.
morning.
What about a question that came in online today was, should the bride wash her hair the morning of the wedding?
That all depends on what her hair type is like. So usually I like their hair washed from the night before, but that only goes with if you have somebody that doesn't have greasy hair. If you have a bride that has to wash their hair every day, you have to go with it and they have to wash it that morning. I know he's moving the camera.
He's moving the
but
camera?
Yes.
Can you put the camera back?
Can't see now.
If they can at all, I say the wash the night before. But if they have greasy hair, then yes, we have to wash it that morning.
Right, okay.
The reason why I say the night before is if it's too fresh and too flyaway, it's a nightmare to work with. But equally, greasy hair is a nightmare to work with because the backcombing just won't last. So it depends.
Backcombing, there's a word I
Backcombing.
recognise.
So
from
it
back in the
depends on
80s,
their hair type.
when I had hair and I used. Anyway, move on. Melissa, what about you?
I'd agree, yeah. Every bride knows their own hair best. So I find when they come to the trial, you can talk about all that. You can see what their hair is like. I'd get them to wash their hair the night before coming to the trial. So at the trial then, if it is greasy, I'll know that.
But what about the day of the wedding? Would you recommend that the brides get their hair washed the morning? You say yes, depending on the hair, I suppose.
I'd judge it from the trial.
Okay.
What the hair is like.
We were talking to some girls a couple of weeks back about skincare and skincare regimes. getting started
Yeah.
6 months out or
Yeah.
9 months out, looking after your skin, etc. And they were giving you advice on how not to go drinking the night before or go drinking 3 weeks. You know, people want to wine and dine you, as Anne Young said a couple of weeks back. Would you recommend the same thing?
Absolutely.
So what can brides do?
So they'd want to be starting straight away with the colour. The colour is very important. Like naturally, the Upstyle will look better if the colour is good. If there's tones through hair, it will look even better if you see some little tones. They don't have to be blonde, they could be bronze, copper, anything. But the colour should be right. So they should be working on their colour. Some brides are dark, they want to work towards being lighter for their wedding. Also the condition. So good conditioning treatments, because you want shine. There's nothing like shiny hair for photos.
Like a good shiny head.
Nothing like shiny hair. Shiny. Then the length.
Because you're worth it.
Yeah. The length is the other thing, is they might have very poor hair that's not going to get any thicker or grow any longer if it's over processed. So they may need extensions. So this is all something that we're working on for the couple of months before their wedding.
And Melissa, what about from a diet point? Does your diet affect your hair?
Definitely, diet and stress can affect hair, but if you, like we all know, to reduce stress and blah blah blah, but definitely with diet, protein for repairing the hair and keeping it strong and healthy.
And do you girls offer advice then on that type of thing? 9 months out?
like
or?
B12 and zinc are brilliant vitamins for your hair.
Which?
B12 and zinc, which is in
To make your hair
most
grow
of
back.
your vitamins. Yeah, because hair and nails go together. So generally, usually, if your nails are a bit brittle, sometimes the hair isn't great. They usually kind of go
And
together.
there's capsules you can
Yeah.
get that contain the zinc and they're for hair, nails and skin.
Right,
So
okay.
great to start taking a couple of months coming up to it.
Right, okay. All right, okay. Just another question. Do I need to pay a deposit to secure the date? I presume you do.
Absolutely.
To book
yeah.
you for your services, like every
Yeah.
other wedding service.
We get lots that say to us, do I need to pay a deposit? Even one saying, well, can I book provisionally? Unfortunately, we don't let anybody book provisionally.
No.
Because what happens then, if you let them book provisionally and somebody else looks for the date, you're having to go back to them to say, look, I have somebody else looking for that date, and then you're pushing them for a deposit. I don't like to push anybody. So the easiest is to pay a deposit and the date is theirs.
What I say to people is the date is there, it'll be there until money changes hands.
Yeah.
Once
Exactly.
money changes hands,
Yeah.
then you get, it's not a commitment from me,
Yeah.
but it's a commitment from them.
Yeah, exactly.
That they want me to do their wedding.
Yeah.
They want me to turn
And
up
you
at
can't
their
be
wedding.
following up on every email
No,
you
you
send
can't,
out
because
every day.
No.
No.
You need a
Don't
secretary.
have
Yeah.
time.
You
Yeah.
need a secretary. Just going back to the mums hair thing question again. Suggestions or tips or advice for mums.
Sometimes I find brides will ask to bring along their mum for their hair trial, for a second opinion, and also for a few tips for their own hair.
Right.
Some decide to daughter's wedding or son's wedding, and at least you can give them tips then on the day and just to suit their hat and stuff. Because I find a body blow dry is much better with a bigger hat headpiece and that's fine.
So that's important as well. That from mum's point of view, and I suppose to a degree, the bride's point of view, if she's wearing a veil or a tiara, or not wearing a veil or not wearing a tiara, or if mum is wearing a big hat
Yeah.
or a little fascinator, or is it fastener?
Yeah.
Fascinator.
Feathers, whatever.
I find you need to wear the fascinator, not the fascinator wearing you.
Yeah,
so
you need to know all of this
Yeah.
before you decide on what style you're going to recommend
With
to
the hair,
mum, I
yeah.
presume.
Legally, we need to know what we're doing to tell mum to either wash her hair the night before
Yeah.
or have it washed ready for us when we start in the morning.
But that's where the consultation comes in, I
yeah,
suppose.
trial is key.
Trial is key. Trial is key. All right, then we go back to Richard and the social media. Richard, what's happening online? I see the two cameras are in the same position. Thanks very much, Brian. I know what this is about.
Well, we've loads of questions coming in. Emma Nidova, I presume I'm spelling that right. How can you decide between an upstyle and a downstyle?
Okay, let's go with that one first. So,
Well,
hi Emma, thanks for your question, by the way.
Hi, Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
How I always usually recommend, number one, if there's somebody that always wears their hair down, for weddings, they may not be comfortable with wearing it up. So that would be one question. First of all, I would try and figure out what their comfort zone is.
At the same time, then, if they always wear their hair down for dramatic purposes, you're nearly encouraged them to wear their hair up.
It is, but sometimes you're just pushing them out of their comfort zone. But if they're open to wearing it up or down, what I usually say is a good tip is get the catalogue picture of your dress. Right? Usually these designers photograph the dress with what way most complements the dress. Okay. So if you see your dress with the hair up, that's the way the designer thinks most complements that dress. Right. That's not saying they have to do that, but it gives them an idea.
What about you, Melissa?
I find definitely with the style of dress, you'd be able to recommend what will look best.
Yeah,
and
we kind of covered that earlier on, didn't we?
Yeah.
With regards the style of dress determines or to a point dictates what style your hair should be, whether it be up
and
or
if
down
sometimes
or to the
if
side.
you have hair that's very fine or can't get length in it, then an upstyle would probably be best, because at least you can ensure that it's going to last for the day.
Okay, question for you then, just before we go back to Richard again. Do you recommend or do you not recommend a bride changing her hair, when she's not changing her dress for the dancing?
They can do that, but what's going to happen then is they're paying us as a bridal stylist to come back a second time in the evening.
Yeah, but if that's not a problem to them.
It's not a problem, no, if money is not a problem. Absolutely, if they want to change the look,
but it's something that can be done.
Yeah.
You wouldn't recommend that the bridesmaid pulls out a load of hair clips and try and, gets out the whatever it's called.
GHD.
The GHD, yeah. And try and do it themselves. But it is something that you can do,
yeah. Definitely.
Okay. All right, Richard, back to you again. Anything else there coming through? Just make sure the mic is on there, yeah?
No. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear a thing, but I just know, yeah.
Thanks, Mick. Michelle Igo asking, how close to the wedding should a bride have her trial?
Okay.
So we had answered that.
Michelle, you come to the show late.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
We were kind of saying that around, when you're getting a dress fitting is a good time to have your trial done. Yeah. But I mean, you can go as close as you want. You can go the week before if you want. But the only thing is, I think you're better giving yourself a little bit more time, because sometimes you might like to get a second trial.
But do you guys recommend that the bride then 9 months out or 12 months out starts growing her hair?
Yes, absolutely.
And starts getting into her hair regime, her conditioning, and then as it gets closer, watching her diet, that type of stuff. And then maybe once the dress is finalised, again, money paid, dress bought, then coming to you guys with the picture from the magazine or a photograph of her in the dress.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can advise them then best on what style, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard, anything else?
Okay, we have another one from Emma. Can you buy hair pieces before having a trial? And where's the best place to buy hair pieces?
So in my salon, we keep hair pieces on stock all the time for brides. They're free to borrow for any of the brides that come in to trial. They can have them for their wedding day. They just return them to us afterwards. Yeah. And if it's not something that they want to borrow, we can give advice at least and show them what kind of size suits or what doesn't suit. If they want to buy something themselves, Allure in Sligo is really good.
Where's Allure?
Allure, so if you go through Quayside, go through Next,
right.
they're in there. They've beautiful bridal pieces. Even eBay. There's lovely bits. I know it sounds crazy, but there's lovely bits.
Yeah, but you got to be careful what you get ordered.
You do. I've ordered a few bits though that I have in stock.
Warning! That comment comes with a warning. Be careful what you order online.
Well, yes.
Yes, that goes across the board for everything to do with weddings.
I find hairspray in Dublin is quite good too, because at least they kind of give you a little mini consultation to match up to your own hair colour, and if you tell them...
Hairspray is a company, I presume, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. I thought it was a product.
Extensions only.
It's not the movie, Mick.
What?
It's not the movie.
All right, okay. Anything else there, Richard?
We have a question in from a guy, Ronnie Dignan. Thanks for the question.
Ronnie Dignan.
Great show. What about the lads, Mick? If you're ginger, should you dye your hair?
Oh my God. Am I to answer that?
Yes.
No, absolutely no. Beautiful red locks. No.
Yeah.
Or you could shave it.
Okay, here's a better one. Is there anything you should do to keep your hair in good condition in the lead up to your wedding? I think we covered that already.
Well,
Didn't
yeah, we kind of covered that
Yeah.
already. You got to watch back.
we? Okay, that's good. Another one here. How many trials should a bride have?
As many as they want.
They're going to pay for every trial they get done, but I would like to think that's why I say that we don't do trials on the day somebody is going to a wedding, because they don't have the time to sit and stay with us.
Yeah.
But I like to allow an hour to an hour and a half. I like to think that one trial does it. And it only costs them the price of one trial. But it's okay if they need a second or third, but I like to think one does it.
But it's not just a trial you're going through on the day of a trial. You're talking about the dress. You're talking about different styles.
Yeah.
You're giving them advice on the day as well, I presume.
And what we do as well, and it's really good, and it's something that we added on to our consultation for our trials. We have a consultation sheet that we keep everybody's record together when the bride comes in. And the other thing that we added in is we actually got a Polaroid camera. I know a Polaroid camera is nothing to you, but it's an advanced one. And what we do is we actually photograph their style from all angles. It's a little keepsake for them, for our memories, and also for us, it's keeping our head fresh of what we've done for our consultation sheet. Because naturally,
So you have a little file, I presume, when you...
yeah,
And you-
exactly.
little
Goes into a
notes and
folder.
whatnot.
So we have the notes and we have the
Yeah,
Polaroid
yeah.
camera pictures to match.
Right.
Because naturally, some brides are in Australia and are coming to us a year in advance.
Men don't change their hairstyles that often.
I
The
think.
younger guys do.
Yeah, I think I know my own brother-in-law, Andy Cogan. He'd love me plugging him. He's Lads and Dads. He opened in Ballymote.
What do they do?
He's a barber.
Oh,
he's
really?
my brother-in-law.
We get asked
Yeah.
all the time in the shop,
Yeah.
and we've approached a number of companies to advertise with us
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
promote with us,
Yeah.
whatever, for lads getting the hot
Yeah.
shaves,
Yeah.
the hair done, manicures on the nails.
I know Andy opened in Ballymote and he'd say,
I'll have to get his number.
definitely they're getting more into the hair. I think men have started to get more fussier than women.
Yeah,
Barbering is just a huge thing at the moment.
Yeah.
So my brother has a salon in Claremorris as well, barbers, and fellas are coming in wondering what they'll do for the day of the wedding. The wives or fiancés are telling them to do this, that, and the other.
But it's a nice thing to do. It's something for the lads to do the morning of a wedding,
Yeah.
to go away and get a hot shave,
Yeah.
or to go away and get a haircut. And have a bottle of beer, have
Chat.
a haircut, read the paper, maybe put a bet in a horse, that type of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
manly stuff, Well, you women are all beautifying yourselves
Yeah.
and getting your hair done. What happens during the trial then? Not,
So with our trial, and that's one thing I should say as well, when somebody is coming for their trial, if they can restrict it to maybe 2 people with them.
as opposed
when
to the whole entourage.
Oh yes, because I have had ones and they've come with 6 and 7 people. But what's going to happen there is no 2 people have the same taste.
Right.
So if you have too many people, there's an awful lot of opinions and there's an awful lot of distraction going on. So if they can kind of restrict it to 2 people, we ask them to wash their hair the night before. And they come in. If we can, we ask them not to come on a Friday or Saturday to the salon, if at all possible. If they can't, of course, we fit them on Friday, Saturday. The reason we say not on Friday, Saturday is the salon's very busy.
Yes.
Phones are ringing. There's people coming in looking to talk to me. It's just very busy, whereas I like to keep it more relaxed and that there's no distraction going on. We get them to fill out their consultation sheet. I like the bridesmaids' names so that when I come in the morning that I can actually call somebody by their name.
I like to do that as
Yeah.
well, but I don't. I end up not doing it because I can
Yeah.
never remember.
Yeah. So I bring my little clipboard with me on the morning and I know their names.
I
and-
can't be carrying a clip when I have a camera.
No, you've too much equipment. We spend an hour to an hour and a half. First of all, we'll look at their dress, look at their hair, see what is manageable, because sometimes they have something outside their expectation that's not possible.
Yeah.
As in if they have very, very fine hair and they're looking for this big fussy Upstyle, unless they have extensions with them, it may not be possible. So we see what we have to work with. Spend an hour to an hour and a half. As I says, we photograph it with the Polaroids and keep it on our consultation sheet so that we have a record for what they've done, and they equally get to take the pictures home with them, and it's a nice little keepsake. Yeah.
Melissa, what about you there?
So with me, I have a bridal suite that's private 1-to-1, so there's nothing else going on. It's just me and the
You're
bride.
totally focused on
Totally
them.
focused.
Yeah.
So we sit down when they come in. like to keep it nice and calm, relaxed.
Yeah.
So tea, coffee, glass of prosecco, have a chat about the theme, their wedding, show photos and all that, and then get talking about the morning and give a time format.
Would you
and then
agree
do
with
the
Gemma
styles.
in relation to the amount of people that they bring
Definitely,
with them?
because you could be quite happy and feel good, and it only takes one bad comment to put you feeling back to the start again. That you,
Yeah, some smart ass
Yeah.
bridesmaid making a quick quip,
yeah,
and suddenly, you know, you're in doubt. You're doubting yourself.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doubting the stylist.
and then you feel like you need another trial
Yeah,
when one
yeah.
is sufficient, really.
Okay. Do you? Sorry, Richard.
Do you want some more questions?
Yeah, have you got one?
Yeah, we got quite a few.
Yeah, go
So
on,
the questions are
take
coming in
another
fast now. So we have.
They're all trying to win the competition.
Oh,
you see.
yeah, they're all trying
Just
to
to
win.
remind you of the competition, if you do want to be in a chance, the girls are giving away an Upstyle each. So if you want a chance to win the competition, then just leave a question in the comment section below, and we'll get a winner after the show.
Okay, so some of these we probably have covered already. I had Claire Clancy asking about, do you think bridesmaids need a trial?
Well, if you want to make money, yeah.
I don't think, again, it's a necessity that bridesmaids needs trial. Like, if I would probably say 9 out of 10 times I'm going out doing weddings for bridesmaids without a trial. Unless you have somebody that's very uncomfortable and nervous about somebody coming in that they maybe don't know doing their hair, then yes, you can send her in. There's no need to send all 3 or send all 2. Usually, if you just send one, that's enough. But it's not a necessity, no.
If they're willing to pay for it, sure, send
That's
them
it,
in.
yeah.
You know, knock
Yeah.
themselves out. Come every
Yeah.
week on the run up to the wedding.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Richard?
Yeah, we have Imelda Scally from the
Hi,
Landmark.
Imelda. Imelda's a
Do
great,
most bridesmaids
contributor.
just get any style, or does a bride pick a style?
I find, again, it goes with the dress and also their face shape and hair type, what suits them best. And then the bride has the final say.
I agree.
It's all to do with the dress, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll have to
And
get
like
the dress.
Dress and what they're comfortable
We'll have to
with.
get
Like,
the
And
dress
it's-
people in. That show is coming up, by the way.
And as well, the theme, like boho vintage is very big at the minute. So you need to kind of keep a uniform style between the whole bridal party.
Right, okay.
So
I
it's-
agree. Like, regarding what you're saying about boho vintage, see, they're very smooth, structured upstyles they're saying at the moment, or very textured. I'm loving at the moment the textured upstyles where it's a little bit messy, the back combing is a little bit pulled out, it's not perfect. I just love that
Suits
look
so many.
at the moment. A lot of brides that are coming in, they don't want that perfect set style. As I said, it's either very smooth and structured or it's a little bit textured. Yeah. So hair is about following fashion as well.
Fascinating stuff,
Yeah.
like. Fascinating stuff. Is there a certain look or style that you girls specialise in?
Mine would definitely be vintage boho. I just love it.
You do vintage boho. We'll have to
Which
Goog-
be
Richard,
relaxed.
Google vintage boho there, will you?
Very
And see what it
relaxed,
says, what it means.
textured,
Do you not
soft
know what
styles.
vintage boho is? Holly?
No, Richard.
Now, there is a difference. There's classic vintage and there's...
I know.
Vintage.
The only thing I know about hair, Richard, is it a number 1 or a number 2?
I think it's a number 0. What you make?
I just like soft, complementary styles, like with loose around the face, nothing tight and structured. And
Right.
I just find it doesn't suit many people.
Okay. And what about you, Gemma?
I wouldn't say that I'm set on anything. I like.
What's
to
your
think-
favourite at the moment?
What my favourite is textured at the moment. That little bit messy and a little bit pulled out. I love that look.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
no,
a little bit toss.
like I love even flowers in the hair, like
Right.
natural flowers in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hair. Baby's breath.
Baby's breath,
Love
yeah.
baby's breath in
Right,
the hair.
okay.
I've been doing that now for a while. And I think that's important. Girls have to start seeing what's getting old fashioned. What's getting old fashioned is curls pinned over to the side. Girls who started that trend was Cheryl Cole on her wedding day to Ashley Cole, who's divorced now.
Yeah.
And has baby bear now.
Yeah.
So they need to see what's getting old fashioned. Move on. Half up.
It'll
half
come back again. Next time you get married, it'll come
And
back.
you need
Exactly.
something that's timeless. So in 20 years' time, when you look back at a photo, it's not like going to be, oh God, everything's lovely with the hair.
Yeah.
It's,
Your typical half up, half down. They need to modernise a little bit as well. That's getting a little bit more old fashioned as well. It is still done, but I try and encourage them to do something that hasn't been repeated and repeated. Even for myself, I get bored if I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
So I like to change it up a bit.
Okay. Very good. Richard, have you anything more there, or
Yeah, we've got quite a few more.
Yeah, keep 'em coming,
Here's
keep
a
'em
nice little one. Do you come across many bridezillas, and how do you deal with them?
don't mention any names, liable,
No, some more so nervous
nerves, I would have thought.
than
yeah.
bridezillas. Like, I think they just want to be happy and you want them to be happy just as much.
Right.
So once they can be a little, sometimes when they come to their trial, but leaving, they're always reassured and they know what they're having done. And they're on the morning of their wedding, then there's no bridezillas.
What about you, Gemma? You come across-
I don't get bridezillas. I get sometimes an awkward bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't go into
Yeah.
bridesmaids.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back for the video
Not-
show. We
not
can
all
talk
the
about
time.
bridesmaids all
Not
you
all
want.
the time, but you
Reliving
will
the day.
sometimes have a bride saying that the bridesmaid has picked a style that is nearly identical to her hair. And I'll say to her, no problem.
That bridesmaid
I'll
is
say-
normally the groom's sister, isn't it?
or her sister. So I'll just say, look, we'll talk them around to something else. So it's not all the time, but no bridezillas, an awkward bridesmaid sometimes.
Definitely, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anything else, Richard, there?
Let me see.
Is your mic on? I hope it wasn't
My
on that whole
mic
time
is
you were
on.
chatting to Brian
No.
there now and we listened to your
My
conversation.
mic is on. It's okay. Don't worry. So Julie Kilcawley was just a comment there. If the bride is having the likes of a floral bridal crown, something like that, so in their hair,
Yeah.
do they need to bring a mock-up of the crown on their trial day?
I have samples of floral pieces as well as diamante pieces and that kind of thing. So it gives you an idea at the trial of what it looks like before you actually go and get it.
It is important for her to have a mock-up one. Again, we keep pieces in the salon for them to try, but it is important for her
You
to
can't-
try it because she can't judge if she really likes
But if
it.
it's
You
fresh
can't just
flowers.
jump into the field next door and pull up a load of
No,
flowers.
and if it's fresh flowers, you can't really bring that to it with you. So it's
Right, okay. Just a question I have myself is, let's say you're not going to the house. Let's say the bride is from Dublin
Yeah.
or from Galway
Going
or
to the
wherever.
hotel.
And no, not even the hotel.
Right.
Let's say they're going to the salon
Yeah.
and they bring the whole entourage with them,
Yeah.
3 bridesmaids and mum.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that scenario? Is there any advice you'd offer?
Well, usually there's a time schedule given, and it'll be the same time schedule whether we go out to the hotel or it's done within the salon.
Right.
Another question I get asked the same, so this is going to relate to it, is are you going to bring a second person with you? I can absolutely bring 2, 3 stylists, but you're going to pay to have a second stylist, have a third stylist, and we'll get through them quicker. But the other reason, apart from money aside, that I don't like to bring a second and third stylist is if we're having 3 bridesmaids that are having the same hairstyle, no 2 hairdressers do the same work.
Right.
So if I bring a second hairdresser with me, their hair isn't going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of keep to doing it myself. So on the morning of the wedding, usually I do mother of the bride first because usually she's a blow dry. So she's got in and she's had her shower in the morning. This is if it's in the hotel.
Yeah.
So her hair is wet. So usually we do mum first, let her go off, and because she's usually greeting the flower man or video man. After that, I like to do bridesmaids, and I always like to do the bride last. Sometimes I might have a bride that's a little bit
I
itchy feet.
presume you'd bring an extra body with you as well if the wedding was at 12:30 or at 12
And you had a
o'clock.
hell of a lot, yeah.
And you were under pressure for time. That's when you'd
Yeah.
bring a second
Yeah,
person, I suppose.
absolutely.
But my question in relation to going to the salon is directly associated with one of the recommendations I give to brides if they are getting their hair done in a salon, that they don't travel in the same car as the bridesmaids.
Yeah, I totally agree. Personally, I don't like, I don't know when I've last been asked to do in the salon, but if we can avoid it, it's better, because I've seen it happen where they're going off somewhere else to get their makeup and they're going somewhere else to get their hair done, and you're going, she's where? How much longer will she be?
Yeah.
They're late for their time.
And especially Christmas time, if the roads are bad, people
Yeah.
are delayed, then
Yeah.
everything's put out. And if you do their hair and they leave the salon and it's raining, by the time they get into the car, you can't do touch-ups, you can't put on
And
the
here's
veil.
another one for you then. The bridesmaids who aren't staying in the bride's house that night, let's say, they really need to be in the bride's house early
and
that
they
morning
can
as well, don't they?
equally come late.
Yeah.
So, and I've had that where you're sitting around and you're waiting, there's nothing you can do. Sometimes, they're off doing things or they're flowers and you're sitting around. So that's why I always say it's good to add extra time the morning of a wedding to give that extra time to if you're running late or you're waiting for somebody. Because if you leave it to the deadline of it's only going to take me 3 hours, you can add on another hour
Right, okay.
of lost time of maybe somebody's coming late or...
Right, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just been told we have about 5 minutes left. So, Richard, is there any... I'll take one more question from the masses.
Okay, well, basically, I think that this one you've probably covered already about how soon before the wedding should you have the trial. But
Yeah, we've
Cass
done
Hart was
that.
asking basically, have you encountered last-minute total change of bridal hairstyles, and how do you cope with that?
Not really, I haven't, no.
That all comes down to the consultation
Yeah,
9 months out, doesn't
it
it?
all relates back to
I
the
mean,
trial.
you would an odd time have somebody that maybe decides, it might be minor details, never a complete,
Yeah, like a
full
fringe.
change.
Yeah.
It might be minor details as in, do you know what, Gemma, I won't actually leave them bits down, I might
Yeah.
actually pin them up.
Do you recommend girls wear a veil or not?
That comes down to the dress and
Personal
personal
preference.
taste. I love a veil.
I love a veil.
I'm a sucker for a veil.
My favourite
Yeah.
shot of the day
Yeah.
is when Dad takes off the veil
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the top of the aisle.
Yeah.
That's my favourite shot of the day.
Yeah.
But you never see it these
Yeah,
days.
I am a sucker for a
I,
veil.
I
And
like when the veil is covering the face as the bride comes. It's very old fashioned, but it's
Kim
It's coming
Kardashian.
back though. I
Do you
had a
think so?
bride
Is it?
2 weeks ago that had the full
I
front and back.
love the veil over
Yeah.
the face as she comes up,
Yeah.
and Dad then goes
It's a nice
to lift
surprise
it.
for everybody.
Just
I'm
tip
watching
for any
that.
bride, if Dad is lifting the veil, make sure to stoop down as he lifts the veil as well. Practice it beforehand. So bring Dad along to your trial with you and get him to practice it. All right then, top tips. I want top tips from you both for all those lovely couples and brides out there. And if you had to give them one tip each. Melissa, I'll go to you first.
For regarding hair,
Here, yeah, your top tip.
make sure and do your research on picking your stylist. Look at all their portfolios. Be wary of pages that are sharing photos of work that they have not done
Agree with
and
that.
they've just copied of somebody else's site. And do your research and book. When you pick your stylist, book them and don't delay.
Okay, okay.
I think they were very valid points actually as well. Is that there is some stylists absolutely, and they're putting up images on Pinterest that's not actually their own work. So, yeah, it's very important that they're actually doing bridal hair. Big difference between somebody that can do an Upstyle and somebody that's doing bridal hair. Again, you would probably say yourself that you've been out on mornings of weddings where maybe somebody inexperienced that's not used to being out on weddings they're maybe doing too much chat and they're not used to having the time schedule. Next thing, I'm sure you've had brides late for the church because of hair and because of makeup.
Because if the makeup is late, the hair is late,
Yeah.
and the breakfast is late, and a bridesmaid is late, suddenly the photographer has to do
Yeah.
his job, I got to do my job, and then all of a sudden they land at the church and it's 20 to 2
Yeah.
on a 1 o'clock wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to a hotel that's 40 minutes away.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you can tell at that stage
They've
that
ruined their
the band,
day.
the
Yeah.
band won't be on stage till
No.
11 o'clock.
No.
You know, depending, and then suddenly, you know, you're
Yeah.
paying good money for a band, and
Yeah.
the band want to get on, and they want to get on and entertain the crowd, but they're not getting the chance because they're getting pushed back.
Yeah, so that would be one of my tips. My next tip then is for their hair trial, if they can at all, get their makeup trial done the same day as their hair trial.
Make up the same day
If they can, as
same day,
their hair
right.
trial. So if they have their makeup trial, their hair trial, and
So
their
makeup
dress
trial in
fitting
the morning, hair trial in the afternoon.
and then their dress fitting. It's nice for me to see the makeup that I can say, right, this all flows, the hair suits the makeup. One should complement the other, and at least then when they go for their dress fitting, they can see their total finished look
Right.
together. Otherwise, they don't see their full look until the day of their wedding.
Okay,
So they've no clue what they really will turn out like.
All right, okay.
So they don't have to do that, but I think that's a nice touch.
All right, okay, all right. We're going to leave it there, but before we do, I'm just going to give the girls one opportunity to give a plug for themselves. Gemma, how can people contact you?
They can contact me on Facebook. We have 2 salons. We have Gemma Crossan award-winning hair, which is based in Ballymote, County Sligo. That's 4 years open. And our original salon, Hothead Hair Salon, based in Riverstown, County Sligo. That's 8 years established. You can contact us either way on Facebook, or you can get me by email, GemmaCrossan25@hotmail.com.
We'll put the details in the comment section, the description below when this goes on YouTube as well. And Melissa, how can people contact you?
For myself, if you check out my website, melissamoranhairdesigns.com, and Facebook's Melissa Moran Hair Designs also, and Instagram. And Yeah.
And again, we'll put Melissa's details in the comment section below. Now, we've got 2 prizes to give away. Richard, are we picking somebody out now, or will we do it later?
I think we'll do it later. So if anybody has any more questions, if they want to put
what we'll
those
do
in.
is we'll keep an eye on the the social media for the next half an hour or so. So if you do have a question in relation to hair, and you want that's the pizza, and you want to be able a chance of winning that prize, leave the questions in the comment section below, and we'll get to them. So that's it for another week. Thanks as always to my guests for joining me, Gemma Crossan, Melissa Moran. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
to Richard and to Brian, and to you at home for joining us. We'll keep an eye on social media, like I said, for the next half an hour or so. So if you'd like to continue the conversation, then please leave your questions and comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube or the repeat on Facebook and you'd like to get in touch with us, then again, leave your comments, or you can drop us an email, send us a text, or call in to see us here in My Wedding Store in Clooney. If you are a wedding service provider and would like to get involved in the discussion, or if you have news on a new product, services, etc., then make sure to get in touch. Next week, it's all about flowers. We are joined by Micheál Feely of Feely's Florist, Gemma Foster from Eden Flowers, or Flowers by Gemma, and also Julie Kilcawley from Roselyn's Flowers, who will all be here next Wednesday night, 8:30, on MyWeddingStore.ie's page. Thanks again for watching. Like I said, if you've missed earlier shows, they are on our YouTube channel, and there's a playlist there where you can watch back. The pizzas are coming in. We're out of time. Oh, thanks again to the lads for joining us. Thanks to you at home for watching. And until the same time, next Wednesday night, 8:30, good night from all of us here, and have a great week.
Bye.